Good morning, students. With the constitutional moral values, we will go with the unit 3. Since I spoke about the unit 1, what are the constitutional moral values in my before videos, you have gone through that, and which I have spoken about the domestic violence acts, and I spoken about what are the moral values in the constitutions, what it should be followed. Let's see with the unit 3, the election commission or election systems in India. I think all of you know about what are these election systems in India, and what is the main motive of the election systems. Since we want to vote and we have the rights as a citizens of India, the people of India, we need to see that we are going to elect the members, the members to rule our country, or we need to see that how they are going to improve our societies. So that is the main reason why we go with the election systems in India. And as citizens of India, it is our duty to see that we are going for the elections. And people around, if you see, they say that they don't want to go for the elections, and they feel that they are not good leaders who are coming up and ruling our country. But the main thing is we need to see that we are getting a good leaders, and it is our right to see that we are going to vote, and it is our duties to vote a particular leaders. So we'll see the election systems in India and what is the main motive of it, and what the constitution says about it, and how it has been protected. Because no corruption should take place, and how it is being taken over by the election systems in India. And there are national elections commissions in India who is going to take care when elections are happening around, and see that how they are being protected and what are the methods they are being followed across India. So these are the types of elections. All of you know about this. We have the two houses of the parliaments, like we have the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the members of the state legislative councils, which we need to vote different members of that particular, whether it can be a state or whether it can be a country, we need to go for it. And we have these by-elections, which will also be taken care of, how the elections can be taken over. So these are the different types of elections which have been there, and which we are also a part of it, where we are voting and we are selecting the members of the parliaments. So these are the main key functions of election commissions of India, that is the election management. So if you see that, what do you mean by election management is, it's like supervising, directs, controls and conducts the whatever the elections which are going to take place. This is the main key functions what these election commissions of India will do it, because there will be a main people who will be taking care that all the elections should take care and see that there's some control and what is being directed, and if any problems are there, it should be reported immediately to the elections commission, so that they'll avoid any problems which are going to take place. And electoral, whatever the roles are there, so I just given the preparation of electoral rolls for Lok Sabha and the state legislatures. So whatever the informations, whatever is there in the Lok Sabha, what are the elections going to take place, all the information is being updated there by the elections commissions. And party recognition is very important, that is grant recognitions to the political parties of national and state levels. So if you see there, it's like granting the political parties who are going to stand for the elections. The party recognitions are very, very important. Who's going to stand and who's going to give the nominations for each elections, and what is their names which is being registered. So all these are also very important things. Model code of conduct. So this is what we are going to study in our further slides. What is the code of conduct? What do you mean by code of conduct is determines and announces the rules for fair and impartial elections. So what do you mean by fair and impartial elections? In the sense, there should be a fair elections. So if you are not going to vote, so you all know that if you are not going to vote, there will be some other people who will vote in name of you. So that should not happen. It should be a fair elections. So Elections Commission of India will see that a fair elections are being given, and if a person is being absent or the person is not reporting for the voting, so instead of you, the other person cannot come and vote. So that is the main code of conduct which should be followed, and the commissions of India, that is Election Commission of India, will take care to see that there's a fair elections which are going to happen. So there is no any corruptions of selecting the leaders, and they need to come up stating that this is the leaders which has been elected, okay, fairly, and people have been participated, okay, across different places and different states. So to see that proper elections have been taken over. So main important thing what is studying here is to see that how the elections are being taken over and what is the code of conduct which has been taken place. So what is this Article 324 states? So if you just read it, you can just go through that. So Article 324 of the Constitution provides that the power of superintendence, direction and control of elections to the Parliament, state legislatures and office of the President of India and Vice President of India shall be vested in the Election Commission. So all these people are very, very important to see that how the elections are going to take place. So all the powers are vested with these people to see the smooth working of elections are being taken place across if elections are taking place over. Okay, so this Article 324 is very, very important according to the Constitution to see that everybody has given the voting right. So no corruptions are taking place and it's a fair elections which are taking over. So all the parliaments, that is the state legislatures, the President of India or the Vice President of India should see that the election commissions are being reported what's happening around. Okay, so that is very important according to this article. If you see, this is a model of code of conduct upholding the transparency and integrities in election. This is very, very important. That is code of conduct, or we say it's a principle which should be followed when elections are taking place. So we are in a democratic country, okay, and we have the independence of electing the leaders. So very important is what is that democracy and how we are going to build that democracy is very important. So upholding the transparency. What do you mean by transparency here is how you need to be more transparent in stating that there's an election, there's a fair election, there's a democratic country. Okay, it's like for the people, by the people and to the people. So all of you know this, right? So when we are there, okay, we as a people, we have the right of doing it. So we as a public or the people, we have the right to vote. So there should be some transparency or integrity in the election systems. So we'll see what is the code of conduct we are going to take place. Electoral malpractice. So what do you mean by malpractice here? So if you see there, so corruptions are taking place. So I said you earlier, so fair elections are very important. So when there is no fair election, there's a malpractice which is going to take place, like you want to come to oppositions. So you are standing as a candidate and you want to come as oppositions. You use various techniques and use various malpractices to see that you come to that particular positions. So that should not take place. So that is avoided. As an Elections Commission of India, they should see that whenever a voting is being taken place or elections are happening, this is not being affected. Okay, no malpractice are going to take place, and all the people have given a right to vote. So no other malpractice should take over. Okay, so that is very important, like giving a money, okay, telling them to vote. So such things are avoided. Okay, you should not give any bribe or say that okay, just vote for me and you should vote for me. Okay, it's a wrong practice when you go for this electoral malpractices. Okay, so you can just see that the public is being protected from various things. Okay, doesn't mean okay you should give a bribe and harass them or threaten them to say that you need to vote for me. Okay, that is called electoral malpractices that should be avoided. So I just given here few things about what is that electoral malpractices, like why the constitution has come up here, which is seeing that there's some democratic country is been there, and it's the government, okay, the rule of the government to see that everything is being protected. Okay, so I just given that the people of India or the sovereignty, what they need to see, okay, from the parliament, whether it can be the central or the state legislature, the elections are adult franchise. So what do you mean by this adult franchises? Like, it is given, okay, the authority for the people to see that their rights are being protected. Okay, when you're having a right to vote, it is your duty to do that. If you are not doing the duty, obviously the practice of the malpractice comes into existence. Okay, the malpractice is not only just giving a bribe. Okay, if suppose if the person is absent or the person is not voting, okay, instead of them you vote. Okay, so that is like proxy. So that is also, it is a one way of malpractices. So that should not take place. So if it should not take place, it is your duty to report, okay, when the votings are there or when elections are happening. You need to just go and present yourself and vote a correct leader whom you feel a fit for the society or fit for the country. Okay, that is very important. So election commissions should take care that no such things are going to take place. We'll see what is this code of conduct. As I told you earlier, there are various code of conducts and various informations which should be circulated so that all the elections are happening in a very smooth manner, and the elections commissions of India are also taking care that all the principles or the procedures are followed in a very perfect manner. So we'll see what is this code of conducts we are going to have. So the model of code of conducts is a set of guidelines which is established by the Electoral Commission of India, which we call it as ECI, to ensure fair and ethical behavior during elections. What do you mean by this behavior in the sense like, I'll come further in my slides, what do you mean by behavior in the elections? So there is no any caste discriminations, so that should not take place. Okay, and what do you mean by ethical values? So you should be very ethical. So all are common here. So you should not discriminate between like a caste or a creed or a gender. So no discrimination should be there. So it should be a fair and ethical behavior during the elections are very, very important. It regulates the conduct of political parties and candidates among the to prevent the malpractices, uphold democracy principles, and maintain the integrity of electoral process. That is very important. If you read it again, you will understand. That is, what is the political parties are there, okay, candidates are there. So when they uphold, they should see that democracy has been maintained. I told you what is this democracy. Democracy is like for the people, by the people, and to the people. So that process of electoral process should be followed. Through non-integrity that is enforceable, the code of conduct plays a crucial role in promoting the transparency and accountability in the Indian elections. That is very important. You should be more transparent and accountable. Transparent in the sense, obviously when an elections are happening, you should be more transparent. Who's standing as a candidate? Okay, who's doing how many votes has been taken place? So that is called transparency. So if you see in a press, in a medias, okay, when voting is taken place, you will just see in the televisions or in the news stating that these many candidates have been, that is votes have been given to this particular candidate or to this particular political parties. So because you are more transparent to that, the transparency should be maintained. Okay, that is about the code of conduct which should be taken care and how it should be going further. Okay, so these are the various the code of conduct which is very important when it is there. Hate speech. What do you mean by hate speech? You should not discriminate or speaking against any person. It's avoided. You can speak because as a candidate you can speak because you are speaking for you. You can say what you are going to do. It doesn't mean you should speak against the other person because this is about the code of conduct when you are standing as a candidate. Okay, so what are the procedures you need to be following? Because this procedure will state about how the developments of how the election should take place or voting should be done. So that is very important here, where you need not speak about other persons or how you're going to see that you're telling something good about you and the people should vote for you. Okay, that is about hate speech by political or any of the parties which has been involved here. Next, communal violence and targeted acts. So if you go through that, is very important. As I said earlier, communal violence should not be there. Okay, this is also code of conduct. Like as I said, religious targets you're going to do. Okay, whether it can be the temples, okay, churches or mosques. So no communal riots should be there. or communal violence should be there. Okay, and targeted act should not take place. So targeted people. Okay, so only some people you're going to target and see them. So if you see, I've just given about updates about in 2025 what are the different percentages of these things are taking over. Obviously everywhere it's happening, but this code of conduct should be maintained. So Election of Commission of India should see that this is being stopped, okay, and should be taken care over, so that all these communal riots or any hate speeches will be avoided. So that is about the code of conduct, what should be taken over. Okay, these are the other like corruptions. So if you see there, it can be any corruptions, like you want to go for the global ranking, okay, or any issues, like for example, what do you mean by corruptions here is like you involve in the corruptions of seeing that you are getting the name there, means you get more votes there. Okay, so that should be avoided. This is also a code of conduct which should be followed when you are when a people are standing for the election systems, or when people wants to get the vote what is required. So this particular corruptions or should be avoided here. And dynastic and caste politics, so very very important. So it's just okay, it is very much discussed topics here, like what the caste politics are there, and how should people should avoid it. So nowadays this caste system should be not there. And the politics, okay, the political systems, if you see, the democracy is given to all, so this also should not come into the picture. Okay, so if you see there in 2025 I've mentioned there about what are the future things or future developments can be taken over it. So instead of just thinking about what we can do to avoid it, we can just go through these things so that we can avoid if any problems are taking over. So this is about the dynastic and caste politics which are going to take place, and how the government should avoid all these things and maintain a code of conduct or the principles which are going to take place. And this is about the human rights violations. So if you see human rights violations also, it is about how they are going to see that okay, the rights of a human is being demolished. Okay, so that is also according to the rule of law, the constitutions. I think before also have discussed about what are the rights of a human. Okay, when I spoke about the domestic violence and how the human should be protected, I already told you about what are the rights. Okay, so when it comes to elections here, it's the rights of every human. It should not be violated and it should be protected. It's very important. Okay, so that is also required here. And I told you about here about the various separation movements are there, and how the different states or different countries taken over it, and you're just involved in certain things and certain platforms as a candidate, and you should be protected over it. Religious and ethics conflicts. So before also I've told you there are various religious and ethical conflicts which are coming up. So that is also should be protected. See, all religions are equal. They have their own religions. They have their own religions practice. It doesn't mean only these religions should come and vote, or these religions should be given protection. So such things should not be there. When you're a candidate, okay, when you're involved in the political parties, it's your duty to see that it's not been involved. So as I said earlier, this all will be taken care by the national commissions, and see that when elections are taken over, it's all been protected. This is called code of conducts. This is called principles. So why this principles? In the sense, it's not easier task, okay, to follow all these principles. Like you all know, like many corruptions are already there in India, and many political parties are involved in various communal riots, okay, religions riots. They are not following ethics, but then too, people should see that okay, it is being protected. Yeah, obviously the election commission should see it is being protected, and the government are also being protected over across it. And since it's a democratic government and independent government, so people should give all the rights. So it should not take away the rights of the people, whether it can be in urban areas, whether it can be in the rural areas. So all have the rights, because we all have the vote. Okay, we have all the vote to vote it. So it is your duty to vote. So when you are voting, it is your right to do it. If you are not doing the duty, because you have not done it, okay, so you should not blame the government is not correct. You do your duties, then obviously you will get a good candidate whom you feel will be better. Okay, so I just wanted to end up with this election commissions. So I think you have gone through what is required as an election commissions here. I've told about what are the code of conduct should be followed when people are standing as a political parties, and what are the techniques they need to go with that, and what the National Elections Commission of India should do to see that there are smooth elections are happening across, okay, when elections are taking place, and how people are to be protected. Okay, so that is very important. As you all know, when elections are happening, the government will announce, okay, declare it's an holiday. Reason is you should go and do it. Okay, it's not that you should just sit at home and relax. It's that you go find out who is a better candidate and vote for them. Okay, so whenever there's an elections going to happen, I request everyone to go vote for the elections and see that you vote for a better candidate. Thank you.